Welcome to another episode where we spill the tea on all things flea. From wild vendor stories to incredible finds, we're bringing you the voices, treasures, and secrets of the flea market world. So grab a seat and let's dive in. This is you, me, and the flea. Flea fam, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of You, Me, and the Flea. Happy Thursday. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining me again. I love that we get to do this every stinking week. I was actually thinking this week, so it's the summer, right? And I've been going out, there's no denying that. There's festivals, there's so many things going on, whether it's, like I said, like a festival, a concert, or whatever. And I feel like this is the best time to people watch, essentially. I feel like people are coming out of the woodworks, and this is my favorite time to meet new people, meet new friends, get to know people. People are in the city here vacationing sometimes or whatever. And I couldn't help but think about personalities and how unique people can be. And I say that interestingly enough because the flea market has so many personalities. And it's interesting when I go to these events with my family or my friends, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, that's an interesting character." If there's someone a little quirky or doing or dressed a little over the top or something like that. And it's really funny because I'm I'm so used to it, seeing people at the flea market with really eccentric styles and really unique perspectives, and I'm just so accustomed to it at this point, and I love it so much. And so to me, it's just kind of another day. But anyway, kind of triggered this episode into the different personalities of the market. And so I wrote down some of my favorites, and I thought we'd kind of dive into them, especially if you've never been before, kind of telling you what to expect and what maybe you're in for. Whether it's a fellow shopper or a fellow vendor. And nonetheless, they're all very cool, by the way. So here we go. Let's dive in to personality traits today. Personalities at the flea. And this is meant to be fun, by the way. I'm not I genuinely love everyone. I have such a good time, and I can't say enough good things. So let's talk about the shoppers first. So the first one I have is the early bird. And this is very interesting to me because I am not an early bird, never have been. I want to be so bad. You guys, if you have tips on how to be a morning person or how to wake up sooner and thrive before the sun rises, please drop them below and let me know, because your girl needs it. But okay, so the early bird shopper is the type of person that is literally, these people are waiting for all the vendor cars to get in. They're not waiting for them to set up. They're just waiting for all the cars to get in. And as they're setting up, are just walking around. They typically have a coffee in hand, or they're chugging it at the gate while they wait for everyone to at least get some sort of table up before they start looking. But these people are very, very serious about finding something. And it could be a piece of furniture, it could be a collectible, it could be clothes. I've seen it all. But 9 times out of 10, these are regulars too. They're very smart and strategic about what they're looking for, who's gonna have it. They know the lay of the land. And like I said, they're caffeinated, they're hydrated, they have eaten breakfast, and they are ready to get in there. They have no other plans in place other than getting in there and getting what they need. And they're gonna do it, damn it. That's for sure. These people are definitely more of a type A for sure. I'm nodding because definitely see those qualities in them. And like I said, they're kind of like more of a planner person. So like they know who they're gonna hit up. Like I said, it's typically regulars, and so they know even like produce wise, they get like the fresh picks of the produce. I've seen them like literally run or like whatever the deal is, they'll buy like a big box of it before anyone else can get their hands on it. It's crazy. But I've seen it happen. And they may typically these folks are usually either like resellers or collectors themselves. I think I've mentioned in like a previous episode, and we featured her on our social media. There is a lady at our Ashland location who literally shops for her thrift store at our Ashland location. And I mean, I've never seen her there past like 11 a.m. Like she's one of the first to get there to get all the good stuff for her store. So that is the early bird. And I'm sure everyone knows an early. If you aren't an early bird, you definitely know an early bird. Um, and it's a very unique personality. Very strong-willed for sure. Okay. Then we have the all-day wanderer. And this person is in no rush. They will literally stop at every booth. Okay. And they chat with everyone. And I think everyone knows a person like this as well. And it might not even necessarily be with shopping. It could be at Starbucks, literally. Taking their sweet time, like not a care in the world, nowhere to go, like, and of course I feel like I always run into these types of people like when I need to like get out of somewhere, and they're just like, and I feel so terrible because they're always like wanting to chat and I just don't have the time to chat. So there's that. But I love this person. I like also, I was never like an all day wanderer, but I love wandering. So I get it. Like when you like stop at every aisle and want to check out every booth. There is also a lot of these people where I'm just like, man, that person is still here. Like I'll just be like walking around and I'll have like, it'll be like half the day already. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're still here. Like, what are they looking for? And they just don't have an agenda, right? These people are super curious, obviously social, probably a little bit more artistic and empathetic. Again, I love there's also a group of regulars that are like this where gosh, they're even kind of a cross between like an early bird and this personality where they get there early and they're a watcher. Um, Gosh. And so like they're actually like a friend group and they talk all day long with each other and hang out and check out all the goods and talk to the vendors. And my gosh, they will remember every detail. Like, how's your son doing? How is this person doing? Like, very, very, very good about that stuff. So if you don't want that, just maybe try to it's like it's very interesting because sometimes I'm in the mood to chat and sometimes I'm not in the mood to chat, and so you just need to know how to like reel this person in, if that makes sense. But anyways, their bag is usually full by like 3 p.m. by the time we close, right? Like, I don't know, I love these types of papes. Give me the wanderers. Okay, the next one is the DIY dreamer, and this is like a person who will buy something broken or outdated or literally has like a lot of Pinterest boards, I'm imagining, or this person definitely is like a person that watches like a lot of like maybe cooking shows or just like a bunch of home DIY stuff. Like I know my mom loves a good project, and some of her favorite like shows are always like the home like makeover shows, right? Because she just loves seeing like what she can do with spaces or like what people are putting in their spaces, right? Like just a ton of things like that. So yeah, so I know a little bit about this personality too. They're definitely creative people, they're visionary people, like they can see something in the smallest item. And I love this about them as well. Maybe a little bit of clutter in their life. That's a little scary. That's a different kind of person, but my gosh. Anyways, I love what I love about the DIYers is like so many times, like if I'm walking around and I'm like, oh, I didn't find a, um, I don't know, like, oh, I didn't find X item. I can't even think of something right now. They'll be like, oh, why don't you just get a basket and paint it? And then that can be your, you know, oh, like, okay, a blanket ladder. Oh, I'm looking for a blanket ladder. I think I genuinely was like looking for one for someone once. And this lady was like, well, why don't you just get like a cool basket and either tear it up and like use the wood scraps and like, put it together, or just like spray paint the basket and make that like a blanket like basket. And I was like, wait, that's actually a great idea. So I love that about them because it's just one of those things where they just know, they get it. You know what I mean? So I think it's cool. Um, and I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of these DIY folks, let's be honest, like a lot of times they're starting new projects before completing old ones. And so I mean, I just know this from like experience of like my mom does this, like I have friends that do it all the time. So it's like, they're in the process of like redoing their basement or something, and then they're like, oh, let's make a gallery wall. So it's like two projects going on simultaneously, but I love it so much. Okay, next up we have the budget boss. Okay, and this can be a man or a woman, and they come in with literally a plan, a mission, and a number in mind, right? Like very strict on their cash limits. Like they're not going to an ATM. Like it's like I have $100 and this is like what I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? Um, they know how to haggle. That's my favorite part about them. It's like they will make you squirm until you give them the price that they're looking for. And I seriously know so many, like when watching this in action is wild. Like, no, no thanks. No, no thanks. Because the vendor will like attempt to like work with them, but they're just like, no way, Jose. Um, because they know they can get them where they need to. You know what I mean? They've done it like so well in the past that like nothing can stop it. Okay. They're usually a little bit more strategic, a little bit more frugal, and maybe the most practical of all these people, right? So like they know, and I actually know a few people of like in my life like this, right? Actually, I know people like all these personalities, but this personality trait is so interesting to me because it's like they know the price at like Walmart, Target, Amazon, Costco, like everywhere. They've done the research, they've put in the work, and they know where the cheapest one is, and they're gonna figure out and make the flea market become the cheapest option. And like, I love it. And let's face it, they probably teach other people how to do this too because they love to share their tips. You know what I mean? Like, or even like brag about how much they like spent. I know everyone knows a person like this where it's like, oh, really? Well, I got those for $5, or like, I don't know. I feel like so many times in my life, I'll like talk to somebody and I'll be like, oh, I went to Old Navy and got this shirt for like 25. And they're like, oh, really? Well, I got it for 15.99 and I used a coupon and whatever. So it was only like 10. And I'm just like, thanks. It makes you feel like so dumb because you thought you got like the best deal ever. And then it's like, great, actually, I didn't. Anyways, the budget boss is bossy, but we'll put it that way. Okay. And then the final like shopper personality that I wrote here is the real recorder. So this person is like literally just there for the content. Especially nowadays. Like I feel like obviously this isn't a personality trait that would have been there that like would exist like a few years ago, but now it's everywhere. You can even tell these people like at a wedding or like wherever, like these people are just on a mission to like take their pictures, shoot their videos, like do their thing. And at the flea market specifically, they're taking videos, they're doing selfies, they're posting stories, like they love trends, they're like more fun loving, they live life. And I feel like I'm like this to a degree, but there's certain things I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to put like every little part of my experience on there, but there's some folks seriously in this category that just that's all they care about, you know? Um, I feel like I've seen a lot of these folks too at like farmers markets, right? Where they're like, oh, healthy or like support the locals, you know? And I'm just like, okay, but normally you don't support the locals, you know what I mean? Like you're at the farmers market one time. It's not the people that like regularly go that do this type of stuff. But anyways, I love it. So if you are this person though, and you're listening, tag Swap-O-Rama, will ya? Just do it. Just tag us so I can share it too, where I can see it and see what you bought. We can all see it. Thanks. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about vendor personalities. And this was hard to like narrow down, honestly, but these are what I came up with. And if there's more, by the way, if there's more personalities that I've missed, which there definitely are, but these are like the core ones that I see like repeatedly. Let's talk about them and like maybe I'll do a part two, you know? Okay, so for vendor wise, we have the organizer. And this person has their booth literally like clearly labeled. Things are color coded, probably like perfect merchandise. They often sell like new products, like or handmade crafts, and just like super into what they're doing. Like, think they have like signs, there's like price tags on items, like they might have like a mole, like you know, they're using like Square or they have like a Zelle, like they're just very, very like business organized. I love this so much because there's nothing more annoying at the flea market than like having to ask all the time like how much something is. Like I love when something like has a tag on it. Now, a lot of people might argue this and say like, okay, doesn't that like shoot them in the foot? Because if someone's looking at it and it's like, oh, that's $5, like I'm not paying $5, right? Like the whole point sometimes, like even at a garage sale or like good flea market strategy would be like, don't put a price tag on something so that way like you can kind of feel the customer out and like negotiate and whatever. But I don't know, like sometimes though people don't want to think. They just want to grab their stuff and keep it moving. And so like if they know something's $2, they just want to grab that thing for $2 and like keep going. So I don't know. Like I think the organizer does well though. I think that they know where everything is in their booth and I like watching them thrive and like, you know, if you're like for example, I'm just like thinking of like our like electronics folks that like sell cell phones and stuff, like they have everything so organized and like color coordinated. So it's like oh, what kind of cell phone do you want? Like, oh, I want one that's purple. Great. And they have like a little row with like all the purple ones and they just like immediately know where it is, where to grab it. Like, you know, it's literally like copy and paste like week after week. And they can even like tell their kid or their employees like where things are. And it's just very easy for them to conduct their business. So I love it. Okay. Another one is the treasure guardian. I've labeled this. So this is a person where, you know, their booth looks a little chaotic maybe. But they know where everything is, which is key and important here. But this person usually has like antiques, collectibles, all the rare finds, you know, like baseball cards, the coins, the like, I don't even know. I've seen so many things like bells. I've seen like encyclopedias, like vintage, just everything. And these people are very chatty and full of stories about each and every item. And there's no doubt about that. And this can even go for the people that do like handmade type of things because I feel like they're so proud of their work that they just want to talk about it. And so especially if you're willing to listen, they're shooting their stories at you. I love this person though, like because I do think it takes like hard work to curate like a collection like that. I know from a previous boss that I had that was a huge collector, like he would literally go to like so many like around like he would go like I think 2 times a year to like conventions to like hunt for like specific items or gosh, like certain hours of the day, like he was just online on eBay, like hunting things for like a certain, like it was like I think it was like a German army thing that he like loved. But anyways, nonetheless, he curated like a really nice collection and spent a lot of time on it. So I'm sure if he ever runs into anyone, and he will have a story about every single thing in his collection. Just gotta be willing to lend your ear to these ones. Okay. The other vendor type I have on here is the Hype Master. This, I can't lie, is definitely like one that I gravitate towards and is definitely like a favorite of mine. And I feel like organically, like any sort of hype person in general, you just want to be around. And I'm talking, this is the person that's always talking to customers, that's playing music, that like is screaming deals out loud, right? That is just a natural like promoter, performer. Like there's just something about their personality that you want to be around. That no matter what they're selling at their booth, like you're going over there. You know, it could literally be like rocks that they're selling and you just like want to see the rocks because it looks fun over there. And I've literally had people draw me in just by that. And they usually like sell out just because of their energy sometimes. Like I I know that we have someone at our Florida market who is immediately like this type of person. His name is Anthony, Relics in the Attic. That's a shout out for you, Anthony. And he's just, I mean, he's his literally his own hype person. Like loves what he does, loves his business, will absolutely talk about it until he's blue in the face, and he will give you behind the scenes footage. He will give you like raw footage. He goes live every time he sells. Like he's just all hype. I love it. And everyone is buying from him and everyone wants to be in the yellow building and everyone is just, I mean, you can't help but love it. Love the energy that he gives. And there are so many people at our Chicago locations that are the same way, right? Like they're screaming like cheap, 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 everything must go, dollar this, $2 that, free this, like just crazy. And I'm telling you, like, those are the boosts that you want to be by because everyone around them is like screaming back or like throwing the hype right back at them. And it's just like this amazing energy that everyone is like living for. The music, oh my gosh, if you have good music at your booth, I'm also going there because it's like I just want to dance to the dance to the beat, like whatever's going on there too, like so fun. And it's just it's interesting because it's like I feel like these people too know when enough's enough a little bit. Maybe they don't, but I'm just saying like they're really good like people pleasers and like people. And so yeah, naturally they're my jam. Okay, and then we have the side hustler. So this vendor is typically working the weekdays. They're slinging goods on the weekends, like they're reselling. They have like electronics, they have tools, fashion. Like I've mentioned these people, right? Like they might have like some sort of like job typically, and then at the flea market, it's just kind of like all their overflow or things that they haven't used, right? But they're hustling hard, man. And like these people are like testing products maybe, so like things that they want to launch like within their regular business, but then they're bringing it at the flea market first to see how it does. Um, yeah, I love it. Great customer service always because their other business relies on customer service, and so like that translates to what they bring to the flea market, which I love. But yeah, the side hustler is like cool, I feel like, is very like smooth, very business savvy again. I mean, I think you have to have that with all these personalities, but in particular with this one, it's very like nonchalant. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want this, like someone else will type of deal. And not so like in your face, like you need this type of style. Like it's more like, okay, like if I sell this, great. If I don't, you know, I'll sell it at my other spot type of deal. But we love a side hustler because they're obviously like at the flea market not because they have to be, but because they want to be. And so like that makes them cool to me. All right, and then finally I have the food vendor with a following. So I feel like and I say that because like I feel like food vendors have to try like a little bit harder because, you know, you have to like, I mean, like what makes your taco better than like Chipotle or like another taco? You know what I mean? Like, or the guy selling tacos like across from you, like you have to kind of have a little bit of something to you, right? And so anyway, I think like I love what I, and also what I love about food people is like, especially working in the food industry, like for most of my life and having a dad who was a restaurant owner, the one thing I definitely loved about the food business was everyone always like threw out the names like, "Oh, I know the owner." Do you? Well, where is he? I'm like, "Well, you tell me." Like it was just insane. Or like, "Oh, like yeah, I know Pete. He's a good friend of mine." Oh my gosh, my dad was Pete, right? "Oh, I know Pete." And I'm like, "Oh, do you?" Like, and he's like, "Yeah, like I'm a really good friend of his. Like we hang out all the time." And I'm like, "Oh, interesting. Like what's your name?" "Oh, my name's Bob." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And we still have to wait for a table. "Oh no, but like I'm Pete's friend." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Weird. I'm his daughter and like I don't know you." So I don't know. I just feel like people always try to do that. But my point is like in the food business, I feel like everyone knows the owner's name for some weird reason or always knows like the host's name or whatever. But same thing like here, like at the flea, like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, like I know Jose. Like he runs the food." I'm like, okay." Anyways, oh, awesome. Like whatever. It's just like one of those weird things where I feel like still even at the flea market like is a thing. But everyone knows their name and they have like a line that goes with it like I know him because of this, you know. They're always, but food people are super passionate. They're definitely consistent. They're community driven. They love to feed you. You know what I mean? Like this is like your grandma on steroids, like a food operator, because they just want everyone to be happy. I'll like walk in and like no matter what location I'm at, like the food vendors always like, "Do you want something to drink? Do you want a coffee? Do you want this? Do you want that?" Dude, I just got here, like I'm good. You know what I mean? Like it's very interesting, but they love it so much. And then yeah, like they always like if and then the best part that goes along with them is like if their personality is like so charming, they could have like such mediocre food and I feel like people just because of their personalities would buy from them. So I think that kind of goes along with everyone, but more so with like food because like you feel a connection to someone, right? Or also too, like I love when people are like, "Oh my gosh, like this person makes their cookies just like my mom did." Like there's a nostalgia like part that plays into that a little bit. And so I love hearing that about like food people. So, all right. What do we think about my personality traits? Did I hit them on the nose? Did I miss like a big one? I don't really know. But to me, like I feel like if like going through the market and kind of putting together like all of the regulars or like all of the vendors, like those are the ones I kind of like kept repeatedly seeing like patterns of and I love. Um, so yeah, personalities are a very interesting thing. And one thing I absolutely loved was, I don't know if anyone else did this, but like when you are like any of the like Enneagram like graphs or like the color wheel where it's like, "Oh, like this type of person is a red personality and like this is the qualities of a red personality, like they're bold, they're loud, they love showing up early for work," or whatever the like description is, right? We did this like a few years ago. Actually, one of the first jobs that I had when I moved to the city, and I loved it so much because it honestly just gives you like a little bit more of like not necessarily like obviously like a description because nothing's perfect, right? Like you can definitely be like, "Oh, that's not me." But for the most part like it really like helped in terms of like knowing how to navigate and how to like work with a specific person. Like it would like within this description it would say like this person doesn't like is very black and white and like keeps their emails very like straight to the point. And like when I was reading that I'm like, "Oh, well, that makes sense because I would, and like I'm an emotional person, so like if I would read like emails and I would see this type of stuff, I would always be like, oh my gosh, this person hates me, or like I made them mad, or whatever like my thought process was behind it, just because there was like a short email. And really it was like, well, no, like this person is just like very much so like wants to get this email out of the way and just like responds like very literally and keeps it moving. Like they like to keep their like day going, right? And so like once you figured that out and like understood how other people work, it helped you work better, you know? And likewise, when it comes to things like shopping at a flea market, or, interacting with people at a flea market, right? Like you're waiting in line next to somebody or like in a booth next to somebody. I think it's interesting kind of like, relating to these personalities, because, if you are the type of person that likes to chat and wants to talk, like, for example, I'm just thinking about like if the chatty vendor is like put up with like, the like budget boss, right? Like, I don't think the budget boss person cares about where you got, like, doesn't really care about the story. They just want a good price. You know what I mean? Like, so understanding the perspectives of all of that makes it a lot easier to work with them from both a vendor perspective or a customer perspective. At the end of the day, as long as we all respect and love each other, that's all I care about, right? World's peace. Which we could really use right now, by the way. So anyways, I think it's just really fun, and like it's interesting too, because I just love like seeing like young, like this personality on a young person versus like an old person. That's also very interesting to me. Um, but anyways, nonetheless, it's all very fun and I love it. We love the people of the fleet. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? Like, what's one type of personality that I listed that you could absolutely like never talk to? Like, it just annoys you off the bat. I don't know if I can like think of one in particular, but anyways. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for joining me on another solo episode. I know these are definitely one-on-one with me and you, and so I hope that you're enjoying them. And I definitely love having people with me too, but I also love just hanging out the two of us. So, hope you do too. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. As always, make sure to come visit us during the week at all of our respected locations, every weekend, inside and outside. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share all the things, get on our social media, tag everything so I can see it too. And yeah, check out our vlogs this Tuesday, and I'll catch you here on YouTube.